test kit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Obviously, I
Yeah.
saw your chat, but didn't read it.
Oh, okay. Well, the test kits free.
Yeah.
You could sign up September 25th, which,
That's
is a
nice.
good thing.
That's good. It's coming up.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can
Yes.
see messages. I still can't see it.
Oh,
Maybe I have to say got it. No, who
Oh.
can see messages?
Aha.
I don't see it.
Just click on chat. Does it
Yeah.
does a bar come up? Because I didn't say everybody except Pat. But
Well, thank you for telling me out loud, though.
Yes.
yeah, covidtest.gov, and I think that's the same one we signed up before. But
Mm.
Probably, and you probably get 4.
yeah, 2 boxes, 4 kits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's good. That's good.
that is good.
I
Free.
saw a little box on the internet, but I didn't have time because I was looking over my Spanish. I didn't take
Oh,
the
that's
time
Oh,
to go
right.
look
We
at
have
the
good
to-
student that you are, Pat.
box. Oh, yes. I thought I'd better.
Yeah, bear with me. I'm just double checking. First 2 weeks, I always have to check to see if there's a late sign up.
Oh,
Oh, I always feel bad when there's a late sign up and then
They don't know
nobody
what's
tells
going
me,
on.
hey, oh no, well, unless somebody phones and, is kind of kind of complains a little. They assume I check. Oh, you know what happens when we assume. Oh my goodness.
Don't
Yeah, I have that issue. So anyway, okay. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
We are almost, not quite, but we're getting close to that point where I won't be able to use buenas tardes for much more, yeah, about a month from now. Yeah, it'll just be the sun going down kind of thing. Pero, bueno, sí, vamos a practicar muchísimo con un poquito, solamente un poquito con números y también muchísimo con el pasado, con palabras confusas with our little confusing words thing. I hope we have time to start that up, but we'll see how it rolls because we take sufficient time to do whatever we need to do to cover whatever questions we have to have. That's the way it should be. We're not regimented with time. Bueno, pero vamos a empezar con pam, 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 números, un repaso. A little grab a crummy piece of paper and this is going to be, I think this segment is 3-digit numerals. Creo que son números más grandes. So we're going to do just a real quickie little dictado with numbers as a review because people always feel comfortable having a little review time and something easy. It doesn't really matter that I share the screen so much because you won't see anything on the screen except for like what looks like una pizarra blackboard. Yeah, that's not helpful. They're starting with ñ because they're not giving like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letras. They've got letters. So they're starting with ñ because I wanted to dive into some bigger numbers. And I think we'll do probably one of those columns, ñ, o, p, q, r, s, t. ñ through t. Those numbers just for a little quick review, repaso, see? So you're going to be hearing some numbers like with ciento, yeah, the hundreds. I don't think it goes through the thousands yet. Ooh, and I got to take closed caption off. Okay, bueno, sí, listos, ready? Listos. Okay, I am not sure if they repeat, so we'll see. I'll do a repetition if we need to. Oh, perdón.
109.
109. 109.
O.
318.
318.
318. I'll do the repeats. They're only doing once through. They're doing like in real life.
P.
P.
666.
666. 666. And you know what? I'm going to back it up because I think I see that we had a couple people come on a little bit late. So we're going to back up a little bit here. Sorry, folks. We're going to start with Enya again, just so everybody's on board.
318.
Oh, perdón.
109.
Is this the first?
Yeah, I'm backing up because we had a
Oh.
couple people come in later. And I just have to find the right starting spot.
Ñ.
Enya, here we go. Okay. For those of you who came in late.
109.
109.
O.
Oh,
318.
318.
P. 666.
666. 666. You're going to hear Q pretty soon.
Q. 802.
802.
R.
802. 802. ¿Vale? Sí. Siguiente. Next. R.
448.
448. 448. Next will be S.
S. 577.
577. 577. That one's a little bit tougher. 577.
T.
Ah.
195.
195. 195. 195. Vale, ¿sí? Respuestas. Answers. I'm going to pop them up on a screen for you here. Let's see how many of them you picked up. And we're doing this as a little review because, you know, it was requested that you hear people talk with prices and addresses and things like that. And shoot, I need a little more, just a refresher here and there. Bueno, aquí, tenemos 109. O es 318. P es 660. 66. 666. Q es, 802. 802. R es 448. Perdón, 48. Y S es 577. Lo más es el número más difícil. That is the hardest number on this list, creo, sí. Y ese 197. 197. Las respuestas.
7.
5.
You wrote 5.
195. El último, last one, sí.
Yeah.
195. ¿Ok? ¿Vale?
Vale.
Bueno, okay. Y eso es todo. That's it. That's all I'm going to do for today. A little quickie on that one, ¿sí? Algo fácil, algo breve. Y remember, our hundreds numbers are all built on that central word of ciento. Ciento, 100, right? Everything is built around that word ciento. And when it's 100 exactly right on the button, it's shortened from ciento with a to at the end to cien. Yeah. But anything, over 100 has to go to the longer word ciento. ¿Vale? Sí. Bueno. Okay. Muy bien. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Ok, pero normalmente tenemos números y incluimos los números normalmente en el curso en mucha información en una conversación normal. Normally, numbers are buried in a regular conversation, see? And they're interwoven with all that other information. So we're going to have a really short video here that's going to blip in numbers where you have to. Now, these are going to be, if my memory serves me correctly, shorter numbers. Okay, so they're going to be referring to addresses, things you did during the day, pero son fáciles. These are easy ones. Okay, vamos a ver. Otra vez breve. Es como 3 minutos nada más. Oh, perdón. Gotta get my number thing off the screen. Eso sí. Ahorita. Aquí vamos. Here we go.
Nuestra membresía, únete y recibe material extra. Disfruta el video.
And I'm not going to turn on the subtitles with this one. Okay, vale. Bueno.
Por fin llego. Son las 8:25.
Sí,
Son las 8:25 he's talking about.
Time.
La hora, ¿sí?
Ahora.
llevo esperándote más de 30 minutos.
Llevo esperándote más de 30 minutos.
Sí.
I've been she should be
Waiting.
Waiting.
30, más de 30 minutos.
30 minutes. More than
More
30
than,
minutes.
more than 30 minutes. Okay.
¿Qué pasó?
El autobús no se paró en la calle 14. Tuve que caminar hasta la siguiente parada.
Stop at 14.
Así, calle 14, he's talking about,
14.
yeah, 14th Street. He's talking about a place where he went. And he's talking about parada. He's talking about a stop. So a bus stop. Yeah, see?
¿En la calle 16?
No, crucé el parque caminando y lo tomé enfrente de la zapatería Tres Hermanos.
En la calle de 20 de noviembre.
No,
Calle de 20 de noviembre. It's a street named after a date. Sí. ¿Vale? Es popular. Es una costumbre popular en muchos países hispanohablantes.
sí. Llegué a la calle 20 de noviembre y después me bajé a la plaza del 16 de septiembre.
So many places are named after dates because they're like patriotic dates. It would be like naming things after the 4th of July, yeah. But yeah, sí, eso es.
Ahí me bajé y aproveché para comprar 1 kilo de limón por 30 pesos.
Por 30 pesos. Es un precio. ¿Sí?
Y 2 kilos de peras por 50 pesos.
Kilos, sí. En vez de pounds, porque sí, usan kilos, sí.
Bien.
Está muy barato todo ahí.
Everything's really cheap there. Okay.
Esa plaza es muy bonita. ¿Y te tardaste porque había mucha gente?
No, solo me tardé como 5 minutos.
No, I only was behind about 5 minutos. ¿Sí? Tardar means to take a certain amount of time. Like tarde is late, tardar talks about how long something takes. Okay.
Pero en esa plaza tocan una música que me gusta mucho y entonces escuché música de mi grupo favorito 440. ¿Sí sabes cuál es?
Sí, sí, claro.
El de Juan Luis Guerra. Así que me quedé escuchando su música un rato.
Ok, eso quiere decir que llegas 35 minutos tarde.
Llegas 35 minutos tarde. You got here, yeah? 35 minutes late.
Por escuchar música en una plaza.
On account of listening to music in the plaza, yeah.
Bueno, sí, pero solo fueron como 6 canciones o algo así.
Yeah, it was only about how many songs?
Seis.
Seis, algo así, something like that. Algo así, something like that.
Ay, Juan, tenemos un concierto. Se nos va a hacer tarde. El concierto inicia a las 9:30.
9:30, a las 9:30. She's talking about when el concierto, ¿sí? Cuando empieza el concierto.
Y todavía hacemos 15 minutos para llegar. Apresúrate.
No te
Apresúrate. Move it, man. Yeah. Hurry up.
preocupes. En 5 minutos estoy listo.
I only need
5 minutes.
I just need 5 minutes. I'm there in 5 minutes, hon. Yeah. Okay.
No me tardo. Y llegamos con tiempo. Si te gustó nuestro video,
Okay. Eso es todo. But now that is the way that normally a lot of numbers do get buried into the context of how we talk. We talk about prices. We talk about names of places, names of things that have numbers, in them, time of day, all of those things happen in a regular conversation. So, when you're listening in a conversation, of course, you have to go with the thread of how it all strings together. Vale, sí. Está bien. Okay. Ahorita. Adelante. We are going to do a switch in gears from presente to pasado, present to past for today. If you are less comfortable with past, that might be it might present some challenges, but it's not super hard. And the lady who designed the video I assigned for you guys for homework, I'll show you the beginning of the video. Here are her pictures. Sí, es Brenda. El video es de Brenda, que es argentina, pero no tiene el acento de Buenos Aires. Ella habla con el acento de Córdoba, que es una ciudad en el centro realmente de Argentina. Así que ella no habla con el acento muy fuerte de Buenos Aires, pero sí usa vocabulario de una argentina típica, ¿sí? Y ella nos cuenta o nos contó, she told us, nos contó la historia de su viaje a Cuba, y Cuba es un destino muy popular con muchas personas hispanohablantes porque está en el Caribe y sí, tienen buenas playas y todo eso. Okay, so she's going to give you a lot of scaffolding, and we'll just do a little. We're going to play just the segment that is the story alone and not replay all of the repeats. and see what you got from that. See if you had any questions about that after we kind of check out the whole thing. Most of the fill in the blank stuff that we had, and I'll pull up what we've got here. Here's the link to the video. Most of the fill in the blank information was her flipping back and forth between different kinds of past tenses. So if you feel a little iffy about that, don't worry about it, because it'll start to feel more natural in a little bit. But, okay, vale, sí. El vocabulario aquí, uy, qué chiquitito, how teeny tiny this looks. Bien, sí. Este es vocabulario del video que buena idea repasar este vocabulario, quizás paisaje, sí, mirador. Mirador es una palabra muy especial. Mirador is a viewpoint, a place where you stand and you see everything that's laid out before you. Okay, un mirador. And it comes from mirar, that verb mirar, to look at. So it means a view, but it means really generally a very expansive view, something very scenic. Okay, you don't call it a mirador if it's looking out on the back alley where they dump the garbage, you know. Mirador. Okay, mirador deslumbrante. Deslumbrante es como estupendo, espectacular. Sí, deslumbrante. Notar quiere decir notar. Es notar, es mirar y pensar bien. Notar es mirar y pensar bien. ¿Sí? To take notice of something. ¿Sí? Preguntarse es wonder about. Preguntarse, we just take that ask a question word, preguntar, we slap a se on the end, and it becomes to wonder about, because when you wonder about something, you ask yourself. And that's what reflexive verbs do. So preguntarse, reflexive, means you ask yourself, that is, you wonder about something. See? Hueso se escribe con H. Hueso is written with an H. You don't hear the H, of course. Hueso, see? She has a little phrase, hueso y carne, bone and meat. Bone and meat. Yeah, see, we use a different kind of phrase to convey that idea in English. Asustarse, to get scared, not to scare yourself. Not like preguntarse, to ask yourself, meaning wonder about, but asustarse, to get scared. See, some reflexive verbs convey an attitude change or something. Sí, Juanita, sí, dime.
How is that different from miedo, tengo miedo? I feel fear.
It's a different way of expressing a super similar, really close idea.
So she could have said that. She could have said,
tenía miedo, I was scared.
Yeah.
There are different ways of talking about getting scared, but asustarse es común, ¿sí? She could have said, me dio un susto. It gave me a fright. Okay. It's just a matter of mixing up the terms so we're not repeating the same term all the time. That's all.
Because I wondered if asustarse was more like startled, and tengo miedo is I was afraid, like you're watching a horror movie and you were afraid of the dark, versus being startled when the guy with the guitar moved.
Vale, sí.
So that's subtle difference.
Yeah, and I think I'll have to hear again how she embedded this in the story. I think she probably embedded it as a preterite, un pretérito, un verbo en pretérito. And when you pop asustarse into pretérito, it immediately means something that happened, like boom, right? I got scared. A reaction that was immediate and you know, impacto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you take asustarse and you put it in pretérito, it means, ooh, impact. It would be like if you took a great big tarantula and put it in front of my face. Gah!
Ah,
You know?
ah.
See? Me
versus,
asusté.
versus like watching a scary movie where you feel scared for a period of time.
Eso sí. Yeah. Because, there's a difference between I got scared or I was startled. And that's fine way of saying it, but it'll be more than just startled. It'll be like, gah! Yeah. It gets a real reaction, asustarse, see? Not a mild one. Yeah, but you might just say, I was scared through the whole movie, which isn't the same as, something popped out in front of my face and now I freaked out. Yeah, eso es. Okay. Vale. Buena pregunta. Gracias. Sí. Y burlarse, to make fun of or to mock. Burlarse. Vergüenza is one of those odd words that gets that little double dot thing. That means we do pronounce the U. Normally it would be vergüenza, but they don't pronounce it that way. It's vergüenza. So to indicate that we do pronounce the U, because GUE usually has a silent U, we put that double dot. Vergüenza. Shame, humiliation, embarrassment. That's what that word is about, right? See? Darse cuenta, and I really should include a de in there because usually it's used with a de when you name the thing that you realized. Darse cuenta de is to give yourself an account of, but we don't say that in English. We say to realize something. Yeah, realize is not realizar, right? Realizar means to literally get something done, to accomplish something. But when you mean realize, we need to use not realizar, but darse cuenta de, and they all hang together. We only conjugate the dar, but it's got to hang together as a 3 or 4 word. Four words if you include the de. See, realize. Okay, disfrazada just talks about disguised in a costume. Okay, see? Y me cuesta. Literally, it costs me, but we say that when we say something is hard for somebody. And who it's hard for is the job of that little word me right there. It's hard for me. If it's hard for him or for her, it's le cuesta. Yeah. If it's hard for us, it's nos cuesta. Yeah. If it's hard for you, it's te cuesta. So the little pronoun changes to tell who it's hard for. Okay. Y recuperarme. Recuperar looks like recuperate. Yep, you're on the right track. So that makes sense. Recuperarme. I think she phrased it as me, but of course it can be a se because it can, change to whoever is getting over something. Okay. Vale. Bien. We'll see how many of these different fill in the blanks. See, espacios en blanco. How many of those you pick up? And then we'll get to some conversation, conversación. Okay, vale. Bueno, ahora vamos a escuchar.
Viaje a Cuba, algo que me pasó cuando visité Cuba hace unos veranos. ¿Puedes comprender
hace unos veranos, a few summers ago.
esta historia? Vamos a ver.
So she's going to flip back and forth between preterite and imperfect. Bien?
Estaba de vacaciones en Cuba con Travis. Estábamos
I
con
was on vacation with Travis. Travis es su esposo. ¿Sí?
un grupo de turistas viajando en autobús por distintas ciudades y
We were on a tour, traveling by bus through different cities.
llegamos a un lugar bellísimo
And we got to a super beautiful place
llamado Viñales.
called Viñales, and that's just the name of the place. It's a place name, Viñales.
La guía turística nos dijo que podíamos bajar a ver el paisaje
The tour guide told us that we would be able to get off the bus, to see the countryside
y a sacar unas fotos.
and to take a few photos.
Era un lugar hermoso.
It was a beautiful place.
Había un mirador y se
There was a viewpoint.
podían ver las montañas
You could see the mountains
llenas de vegetación,
full of
con
vegetation
árboles y palmeras.
with trees and palmeras, palm trees, regular trees and palm trees.
Me llamó la atención una estatua de bronce
Me llamó la atención a bronze statue got my attention. See, llamar la atención is to call something to your attention, literally. Okay. It's another way of saying notice. I noticed a bronze statue
que estaba construida en el mirador,
that was built at the lookout point,
como si estuviera cantando y celebrando toda esa belleza.
It was, as if it were singing and celebrating all that beauty that was around it, right at the lookout point.
Estaba tomándole fotos y
I was taking photos.
haciendo un video cuando
And a
noté
video.
que los otros turistas empezaron a mirarme un poco extraño.
When I noticed that people started to look at me a little funny.
Claro,
Of
los
course.
entendía perfectamente.
Oh, yeah, I understood completely.
Seguro se preguntaban por qué decidí
For sure, they wondered why I decided
tomar una foto a
to
la
take a photo
estatua
of the statue
cuando había un paisaje deslumbrante en
when there was such a dazzling viewpoint, such dazzling countryside to look at. Look at that view, and you're taking a picture of the statue.
frente de nosotros. De repente, la estatua se empezó a mover,
Suddenly the statue started to move. Yeah, I see. Okay.
convirtiéndose en una persona de carne y hueso.
Turning into
Flesh and bones person.
Bones.
sí, carne, hueso, meat and bones. But that's, how would we say that in English?
Flesh and bones.
Flesh and
Flesh and
bones.
blood.
Yeah.
Flesh and
Well,
blood.
sí, flesh and bone, right? Sí, eso sí. Well, sí, carne, hueso, flesh and bone, okay. Pero por lo general decimos sí, carne para carne, meat. Sí, okay.
Me asusté muchísimo.
I really freaked out.
Todos los viajeros empezaron a reírse y a burlarse de mí. ¿Qué
All of the travelers started to laugh and make fun of me.
vergüenza!
I was humiliated.
¿Cómo no pude darme cuenta de que era una persona disfrazada?
How is it that I could not figure out this was a person in a costume? Okay.
Tengo que decir que uso lentes y sin ellos no puedo ver nada.
I have to tell you that I
We're
wear,
black.
yeah. And without them, I can't see a thing. Okay, sí, y eso es. There you go. Esto es muy común. ¿Han visto ustedes algo así durante un viaje? Yo sí.
Mhm.
¿Sí? Es común. En muchas ciudades, pero generalmente ciudades grandes como Nueva York o Los Ángeles, sí, hay gente en la calle, sí, hay gente disfrazada. Often there are people who are in, get-ups. Eso es. I was going to bring you my picture. Guy, ¿dónde está mi foto? Porque yo sí tengo un foto de algo muy similar, muy parecida no lo tengo ahorita, tengo que buscar. Pero es curioso. Sí, y aquí tienen, here you've got the little fill in the blanks that were, given to you. Hopefully you kind of paused it and waited. But we take a look at why do we have preterite and why do we have imperfect. Estaba de vacaciones. I was on vacation. And that talks about the whole duration of the trip, right? Imperfecto, estábamos, because it talks about setting the scene. Yeah, it's giving you the big picture, right? Estábamos con un grupo. We were with a group, and you're not talking about just that day, but the whole trip. Again, it's description, right? Sí, eso es, sí. Llegamos a un lugar bellísimo. Llegamos, now she switches from the estábamos to llegamos pretérito. And here, now she's got an event that starts to set things in motion, right? Pretérito, llegamos, pretérito, we use for events. And now we start to say, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And it moves the story onward and onward and onward, right? Sí, eso es, sí. El guía nos dijo, the guide told us, she spoke, and words came out of her mouth. And usually that's pretérito in the past, decir. I mean, it can be imperfecto, but very seldom does it need to be. He said, she said, and it's an event. Again, it's a marker in the story. We got to the place. The guide told us something, but she told us that we would be able to get off. Sí, podíamos bajar. We'd get off and take a look at the view. Sí, era un lugar hermoso. Anybody got to go? ¿Por qué es era? Why is that an imperfecto?
Description.
¿Por qué?
Description.
It's a description. When we say what something looked like or what somebody looked like, it's almost always going to be imperfecto, right? Era un lugar hermoso. We are telling you a description, so it cannot be an event. Yeah. It looked this way, and that's not something that happened. It's how it was. So she's painting the picture. Había un mirador. She's telling you how things were set up. So again, otra vez, descripción. It's había, not hubo, because nothing happened yet. It was just, there was a lookout point. So there as you go. Y se podían ver las montañas. You could see the mountains, and that's just what everybody was able to do. So again, she's just setting the scene. She's painting the background here. But now we've got another event. We got to the place, event. She told us it was a stop point. And now she talks about, something grabbed my attention. Me llamó la atención. And what grabbed her attention was this statue, right? But now she describes the statue. Estaba construida. It was built. It was set up. So again, she's not talking about anybody bringing something up and setting it down, an event, but that it was built and set up at the viewpoint. Okay. Estaba tomando fotos. I was taking pictures. And now we've got an interruption. So taking pictures, doing a bunch of the taking pictures. Estaba tomándole fotos. I was taking a lot of pictures. When it's repeated and over and over and over, we use imperfecto, and now we have an interruption. See, noté, I noticed. In the middle of snapshot, 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 I noticed that people looking at me funny. And that is an event, right? See?
Marilyn,
See.
I'm sorry. Could we go back? I don't understand why. Estaba tomándole fotos.
Sí.
That laying there. I would just say estaba tomando fotos. Why
That's
the
a little
lay?
hangnail, yeah. ¿Por qué lee?
What don't I get on that?
¿Por qué lee?
Sí.
Estaba tomándole. Well, the fact is, it's a human being, right? She doesn't know that at the time it's happening. But as she's telling the story now, looking back at the past, tomándole is talking about estatua. I'm taking pictures of it. Or at that point, she thought it was it, but it really was a him. And the le is referring to la estatua.
But is that even necessary to put lay in there?
That's a thing that this is be very
Really?
what I would expect to hear. See, so I was taking photos of, because she was taking photos of that guy that was sitting there.
But she didn't know it was a guy.
No, but she knows now.
Yeah,
So as
I'm
she's
over
looking
here.
back, looking back at it, but she was still taking pictures
Of him.
of it, but it was really a him. So that's why it's a le. Not a lo or not a la estatua.
I would not have put that in there. I would do it wrong there.
Well, this is just a normal way of referring to, because it was a human being. Sure, at that moment, she may not have known, but it was a statue of a person. There's that too. But because it really was a person, that's why the le is there. Y nada más. Yeah. Nothing more than that. See? So that's why we've got that. And she has her little description, right, of why we use indefinido. And don't worry about the grammatical terms. On the left, a la izquierda, that's the preterite reasons, right? And the preterite gets a bunch of different names. Yeah, it just tells us, right? Contar la historia. It tells about each little event in the story. Imperfecto. Imperfecto has the job of describing the background action, right? Of describing people or things or weather or emotions, how you were feeling at a point. But when she says, I got scared, she put it into pretérito because it was her reaction, immediate, right? So I was happy or I was surprised might be estaba sorprendida, how I was feeling. But me asusté, it scared me because that was a boom, right? Interface kind of thing when he moved. Okay, so that kind of denotes why we have that switch back and forth. So, and of course, imperfecto also talks about repeated actions, routines, things that were happening. That is what happens with imperfecto. Okay, bien. And I thought she had where's the rest of our story? See,
el imperfecto continuo.
As we don't really. Here we go. So I understood them perfectly. And notice, los entendía, I understood them. It's a mental process. Yeah. This is not a one-time thing. Well, I knew what was going on. They were wondering, se preguntaban, they were wondering why I decided, an event, to take pictures of a statue when there was this great view. Yeah. This great landscape before me, paisaje. And then she highlighted one of her de repente. So de repente, of course, is a signal kind of phrase. It is not a verb, but it signals that we're not going to have description, but we're going to have an event. So de repente is often used in telling stories when something happens that fast. Okay? We use often that phrase, de repente. Se empezó a mover, started to move, and it turned into convirtiéndose, turning into, see, a person of flesh and blood. But notice this me asusté is her reaction, not how she was feeling the whole time, but boom, what happened once that guy moved, and it just put a fright into her, right? And then we've got a couple things that aren't even conjugated because they are just verbs that go into the infinitive here, right? They started, empezaron, there's the conjugated part, started to laugh and make fun of me. Vale, bien? Okay. Scale of 1 to 10. How easy was it to understand her little story for you guys?
9.
9. Oh, hard.
9.
Okay. Because of the pace or because of the switching back and forth with the past tenses?
It was easy. It was easy.
Oh, okay. So 9 being easy.
Yeah. 9 being easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That vocabulary list helped.
Okay.
Yes.
Vale, sí. Yeah, that was the point. We were hoping that was going to be the case there. Bien. Oh, aquí está. Here it is. I'm going to show you my estatua. Lo que pasó. Here is one that I came across once. Same situation that Brenda had. Es lo mismo. En Madrid, 2 actores. Había, sí, esto me pasó en Plaza del Sol, en la Plaza del Sol, en Madrid, en el centro de Madrid, y había 2 actores aquí, sí, como soldados, pero perfectamente tranquilo. No se movían. They were not moving for anybody.
Impossible.
One of the girls went so far as to go off of one of the guys, and she grabbed one of his helmets off of him to try to make him move, and he didn't. Yeah, and he still didn't move. See,
It looks impossible with that man leaning forward.
It looks impossible.
This is something you find in like the big cities, and I'm not sure if it's just out of work actors, probably. Yeah, eso es. You put out a little basket for money, people toss you some money. There you go. Bueno, a ver. Entonces, así que es bastante común en muchos lugares turísticos, pero solamente en lugares turísticos. You only see this in tourist trap places. Yeah, because. Por eso. Ok. Para divertirnos un poquito. Ok. Bueno, vamos a ver aquí. Tenemos nuestras preguntas. Antes de empezar con las preguntas, before starting with our questions, are there any other questions you had about any other little structure she used that we didn't go over or that just struck you as odd? We had the tomándole fotos, and that's just her talking about the statue. See, Kathy.
I don't really have a question, but I thought it was cute the way they wrote ha ha ha. J-A-J-A-J. That's the only way to do it, isn't it?
It is that's the only way to do it. Well, no, actually there are 2. I'll show you 2 of it. So, you only see this if you see it in transcripts. Because otherwise people do ha 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 like we all do ha ha ha. There is no language to ha ha ha. Pero siempre es ja ja. But people will text this to each other, however. If you want to text a ha ha to somebody, it'll always be a ha ha or a he he. Yeah. I think a little more to yourself, but yeah. That is you do have people will text me that, yeah. Eso es. Okay, a ver. Adelante. Aquí tenemos temas para conversar. Here we've got some questions, ¿sí? Quiero que ustedes hablen o nos cuenten un poquito de varios eventos o varias experiencias que pasaron por ejemplo, sí, la última vez que tus amigos te visitaron, the last time your friends came to visit you from someplace else, ¿sí? Los llevaste, did you take them? Los llevaste a un mirador aquí en Arizona. ¿Dónde estaba el mirador? ¿Dónde? ¿Sí? Something with a view. ¿Y por qué era notable? ¿Qué podías ver desde el mirador? Puedo decirles, voy a empezar con mi cuento. La última vez que algunos amigos fueron de caminata en las montañas, ¿sí? Con mi esposo y yo, fuimos a Cave Creek. Sí, saben. Fuimos al parque de Cave Creek y hicimos una caminata en un sendero a un lugar que se llama Skull Mountain. Y sí tiene un mirador. Es notable porque pueden ver todo el paisaje de Carefree, pueden ver hasta Scottsdale. Es una vista de millas y millas y millas y pueden ver 2 o 3 ciudades y muchas montañas, muchísimas montañas. Vale. ¿Qué dicen ustedes? What do you guys say? ¿Un mirador? ¿Hay alguna experiencia de un mirador o no?
Tuve a mi hermana de Irlanda al la Grand Canyon.
Gran Cañón.
Yeah, y desafortunadamente tuve, how do I say, Lena de fog. It was full of fog.
Oh no.
Tuve que I had to do what?
It was totally fogged out. There was so much fog.
Oh. Todo estaba cubierto de neblina. Neblina es fog.
Sí, no pusimos lover.
No pudimos. Let's look at how we would say that. See?
Yeah.
The part about everything was fogged up. Yeah.
Sí.
Probably the easiest way to say that, estaba nublado. Estaba totalmente nublado.
Sí.
Estaba nublado y neblina, perdón, neblina, fog, ¿sí? Había neblina, there was fog, sí, había neblina por todas partes. Había neblina por todas partes. Neblina.
Neblina.
Había neblina. Or you could say, todo estaba cubierto. Everything was covered. Todo estaba cubierto de neblina.
Okay.
See? Now, how about the we couldn't see anything?
No, no puede, no pusen? Is that no puden?
You're almost there, yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
no pudimus.
there are two things we might do with that verb poder.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're going to convey different ideas. So I'll show you how it sounds different. No pudimos ver nada. No pudimos. If I put it into pretérito, no pudimos ver nada means we didn't manage to see a thing. Talks exactly what we got done, which was a whole lot of nothing in this case. Yeah. Right. But if we want to be descriptive about it, we could use poder in imperfecto. No podíamos ver nada would mean we were not able to see. So the difference is imperfecto means we weren't able to see.
Yeah.
No podíamos ver nada. But if you choose to phrase it as no pudimos ver nada, we didn't manage to
See anything.
See anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes it more evento oriented. So that's one of those situations where you might phrase it in one tense or the other, but it puts a little twist, puts a spin on it. Yeah.
Sí.
Eso es. Bien. Gran Cañón. Gran Cañón. Todo el mundo va al Gran Cañón aquí. Casi todo el mundo. Ok, vale. Algo diferente. Any other viewpoint thing anybody wants to? Bueno, Susana.
Here, I'll give it a shot. Cuando mi hermana nos visitó, la llevamos a Sedona. Hopefully. Sí,
Perfecto.
en el tour pink Jeep. Now, I was going to say, podíamos ver las hermosas piedras rojas. But maybe I should have said, pudimos ver las hermosas.
Pudimos ver, we managed to do it, meaning you're pegging it as an event, but podíamos ver, we were able to see. So which way you phrase it just, again, puts a little spin on it one way or the other.
The only thing I wasn't sure of when you have two adjectives like beautiful red rocks, is there a rule for what goes where?
Por lo general, yeah, general. Podíamos ver las hermosas piedras rojas. Yeah, that's kind of like the way we'd see it.
Two adjectives after a noun.
You could also say podíamos ver las piedras hermosas y rojas, and now you need an y.
Okay.
See? So you have some choices of how you can split that up.
Okay.
Eso es, sí.
Gracias.
Buena pregunta. Buena pregunta. Muy bien. Gracias. Hay otro comentario de miradores. Bueno, Esteban.
Sí. Sí. Antes de COVID, fuimos a Kitt Peak en el sureste de Arizona, al oeste, o directamente al oeste de Tucson, con nosotros huéspedes. Tiene telescopios, ¿sí? Y vistas increíbles de las estrellas y el el cielo, night sky.
Oh, durante la noche.
Sí, 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 sí.
Ah,
Puede ser satélites, planetas, la, la vía de leche. That's not right. The Milky Way.
Oh, sí. La
Vía,
vía, oh, sí, oh, Milky Way es como vía lactosa or something like that. Sí, tengo que buscar, momentito, tengo que buscar. Sí, creo que sí. No use el término muchísimo. I don't use that term a lot, so I do have to check just to make sure. Sí. Uh, a ver. Vía láctea. Vía.
yeah, okay.
B chica,
Bueno,
Vía láctea. Eso
y
es.
con solo tus ojos.
Espectacular, ¿no?
Sí, sí,
Espectacular. Sí.
verdad.
Y hay pocos lugares
Ujú.
donde se puede ver todas las estrellas y planetas con un telescopio, sí, así. Es buena experiencia. Me gusta mucho. Gracias, sí. A ver, bueno, hay otra experiencia. Hay otra. Bueno, Bárbara, you'll have to take yourself off of mute.
Una amiga y yo fuimos a ver un largo que se llama Chaparral y es muy cerca, pero es un mirador muy bonito en el invierno, ¿sí?
Oh, en invierno.
Invierno y ella siempre, cuando ella visita, siempre tiene 2 perros, so nos llevamos los perros al parque de Chaparral.
Sí, así es, sí. Y es un parque enorme, ¿no?
Es enorme. Y cuando, ¿cómo se dice otra? Cuando el sol baja,
Así ponerse. Cuando se pone el sol, when the sun goes down.
sí, cuando se pone el sol y con los platos, los ducks, sí.
Los
Es,
patos. Hay patos.
sí, y es un mirador muy bonito.
Sí. Hay muchos pájaros, ¿no? Hay gansos, hay patos, hay varios pájaros que
Sí,
están aquí, especialmente en el invierno,
sí, y
cuando
muchas
vienen del norte.
sí, sí. Es un mirador muy cerca, no, pero es bonito. Sí,
Sí, un mirador no tiene que estar muy lejos, así para disfrutar de la vista. Eso
sí.
es. Muy bien. Bueno, hay otra experiencia. Bueno, sí, Jan. Juanita, dinos algo. Tell us something. You're on mute. Oop.
He was sneezing. Mi amiga Yustine venía a Arizona. Nosotros caminamos el sendero Pinnacle Peak. Caminamos a la cima y vimos mi calle.
Sí. Eso sí, sí, sí. Sí, la cima en una montaña, sí, tenemos la cima de la montaña, la cima, y escribe C-I-M-A, la cima, the summit, la cima, eso sí. Pinnacle Peak, sí, Me gusta ese parque de Pinnacle Peak. Es muy bonito. Es muy bonito. A ver, bueno, ¿hay otra idea con un mirador? ¿Otra experiencia o siguiente? Siguiente, siguiente. Siguiente, siguiente. Bueno, segundo, ¿sí? ¿A dónde fuiste la última vez? The last time, la última vez que hiciste una excursión. Last time you did a day trip. ¿Sí? ¿Qué viste? ¿Qué hiciste para explorar el lugar y cómo era el lugar? ¿Sí? La última vez que hiciste una excursión, a day trip, a long one.
I could talk. I'll do one.
Okay, vale. Bueno, Pat.
This was a day trip from our hotel. So just so you know, it wasn't from our house. Hicimos una excursión en barco por el lago de Como, Italia. Lago Como era muy hermosa. Nuestro guía nos dijo muchas de las vías famosas y también nos contó sobre el lago. No, George Clooney no estaba en casa.
Oh, mi corazón.
¡Qué lástima!
El lago era muy profundo, 400 metros, one of the deepest.
¡Wow!
Y largo, 46 kilómetros. El
¡Wow!
lago fue hecho por glaciares.
Glaciares, sí.
That's all.
Entonces el lago como está en las montañas, ¿verdad? Está en las montañas.
All around, yeah.
Sí, de los Alpes de Italia, ¿están en el norte de Italia?
See, yeah, this is north and it's like the foothills of the Alps.
Okay.
Sí. How would I say this? Nuestro guía lived there and we skier in the foothills after school every day. She told us they would just.
How would you say she lived there? Is that better pretérito or imperfecto? Let's think about that. I mean, that's why we're doing this. Sí, sí.
Imperfecto.
Imperfecto, sí, porque no hay límite. You're not saying she lived there in this year.
So she doesn't live there. She lives in town now, but where she used to live many years. But I'd still say
y eso es used to live.
Used to live.
Exacto. Vivía.
She showed
Vivía
us where she
allá.
used to ski. We could see it from the boat.
Okay. So now, if she showed us, let's say she showed us her house, right? Imperfecto o
No.
pretérito?
I'd say pretérito.
Pretérito, exacto. Right? Because she lived there has got to be vivía allá y nos mostró. See?
Oh, okay.
She showed us. And now that is talking about something that happened at a particular time. Perfecto. Muy bien. Gracias. Buenos ejemplos. A ver, hay otro comentario de una excursión. Algo así. Federico, fantástico.
Obviously, when I get through this, I got some questions for you.
That's okay. Está bien.
And this is Spanish. This is not Greek. This is Spanish. So that gives you a leg up. Okay. La última vez que hice una excursión fue hace 4 años en México. Vimos un lugar donde hacen las alebrijes. So one of my questions when it says hace 4 años, which is 4 years ago, I kept wanting to put in the word pasada. In other words, 4 years ago, it's hard for me to realize that this is clear that it was 4 years ago when I only get to use the word hace 4 años.
Okay. I can clear that up for you.
Thank you.
4 years ago, I went, boom, 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 right? Or I visited.
Right.
Yeah. Hace with a period of time combines with a pretérito. And then it means ago. Boom. That's it. People know it's ago because of the pretérito.
I see.
Because of the structure of hace with a period of time. And because that's connected to a preterite idea, they know it means ago because that's what they use to say ago. They don't have a word ago. See? Hace 4 años, hace 5 años, vi o fui o visité. Any preterite verb can be combined with that hace and period of time.
So
The period of time can be years, it can be minutes, it can be hours. It depends on your personal situation. Bueno, sí, Federico.
So where am I confused about the use of pasada? You know, like
You don't need a pasado at all.
no, I know we don't in this case because you said the way it's hooked onto the preterito, but when do you use pasada? Like, you know, semana?
Last week.
Like 4 years past? Why would you need the word pasado?
Well, you wouldn't in this particular case. I guess my question is, when do you use pasado? Not in this sentence, but when is pasado usually used instead of hooking it onto a preterite and saying hace?
So are you just talking about past tense or the word itself that is pasado?
Yeah, correct.
You don't really need a pasado. Por ejemplo, hace 4 años visité esta ciudad o fui a esa ciudad en México donde hacían algebrías, where they were making these,
right,
you know, artisan works, right? What they call algebrías. You don't need a pasado in there at all. You don't need the word pasado.
Right.
Am I answering your question or am I totally missing something?
Give me a sentence with a word where you use the word pasado.
El mes pasado.
El mes pasado. El mes pasado, last month. El mes pasado fui a Browns Ranch.
Okay.
El mes pasado fui a Flagstaff.
Okay.
Would you put ese on mes pasado?
No. No. Pasado is always going to describe a time period. So, la semana pasada, last week. Pasada or pasado means last.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Not
okay.
ago. Are we getting closer to the heart here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pasado is combined with a time period, but you would never say 3 meses pasados. That isn't used.
Okay.
El mes pasado, last month, la semana pasada, el año pasado, those are all good. Last year, last week, last month. See? El otoño pasado, last autumn. Posible.
Sí.
Si se puede, you can. But you'll only use pasado when you're talking about that time, the last time period.
Ajá.
¿Sí?
Okay.
Una pregunta. Una persona puede decir, en el pasado leía muchos libros.
Sí. En el pasado leía. In the past, I used to read a lot. So you can use the word pasado also. El pasado, en el pasado, in the past. Meaning just, you're not saying exactly when, but not now, but back then. Yeah. Sí.
Bien, me confundo como Feren. Hace 4 años que visité la biblioteca.
Sí.
Pero una persona puede decir hacía 4 años o no.
A veces, sometimes you can. It's a more, you're going to hear the hace much more.
Okay.
Combined with that preterite. It's just the most common structure. You occasionally do hear nasia. It's going to be a more complicated thing. You're more likely to read that kind of thing. But in everyday chit chat, hace period of time, que, and a preterite. Yeah. And the word ago never really gets used because there is no ago. That's just the structure they use to build that idea. So they build the idea. They have different words that plug in to do that. So it's not a word by word kind of translation.
Bien. Cuando queremos decir o hablar de algo en el pasado, usamos hace 2 meses.
Sí, hace 2 meses. Hace 2 meses que fui a Scottsdale. I went to Scottsdale 2 months ago. Hace 2 meses que hablé con mi cuñada. I talked with my sister-in-law 2 months ago. Okay. But there are different markers, different phrases you may use to talk about the past. Hace with a chunk of time, que and pretérito is one way, but el mes pasado, la semana pasada, that's another chunk that will describe when. Some people will just throw out the day. El viernes, on Friday, I did something. El fin de semana, on the weekend. So those time markers will change depending on whether you plug in an ago idea or you name a specific time marker. Bien. And that will vary, just like it varies in English.
Oh, bien. Gracias. Sí.
Okay. Sí. Oh, ayer, anteayer, the day before yesterday. Sí. Eso es. And that's more vocabulary issue. Yeah. Until you get to that hace part, because now you got to string together all those words and that gets complicated. Es complicado. Sí. Bueno. Okay. Vale. Hay otra excursión. Oh, no. Kathy, sí.
Cuando una amiga me visitaba en Scottsdale, visitamos el Museo de Butterflies en Scottsdale.
De mariposas.
Pero no viajamos a un otro lugar.
Okay. Okay, muy bien. Muy bien. ¿Algo más o no? Solamente eso. ¿Just that? Sí. Okay. Vale. Bueno. Okay. Algo más fácil. Sí. Siguiente. Aquí siguiente. ¿Qué hiciste entre semana? What did you do during the weekdays? Right? Entre semana is not fin de semana. Recuerdan, sí, recuerdan. Remember, entre semana is weekdays. Yeah, what did you do during the week? Meaning not the weekends. Sí, ¿qué hiciste? Sí. What did you do on the weekdays? Y no tiene que ser espectacular. It doesn't have to be spectacular, right? Sí, bueno, sí, Jan, Juanita.
Yo visité mi amiga y nosotros caminamos muchas horas juntos.
Ok, bien. Bueno, a ver, ¿qué más? Bárbara, sí.
Sí. Entre la semana, lavé la ropa.
Lavé la ropa, muy normal. Eso es, sí, sí, sí. Yo corté las ramas de un arbolito en mi patio. These are gonna.
Cuidaba mis nietos en Missouri para una semana.
Ah, okay. See, now, if you're limiting it to por una semana, for a week, and
Should
here
be
comes a por or para thing, because now if you're going to limit it, see, por or para, see, what do you think if you want to say cuidar? We want to use cuidar, and I did this for a week. Probably you're limiting it to time, aren't you?
Sí, yeah.
So what do you think is going to be probably a more accurate way to describe to you do that?
So-
It'll be
Cuide.
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 Sí.
Cuide a mis nietos, cuide a mis nietos, sí, por una semana, for a week. And when we talk about a duration of time, and this is another time marker, por una semana means for a week, and duration of time, we use por, not para.
Sí.
Por una semana. And that's a hard thing for us to get our minds around because it's that difference between the por and para thing. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Eso es. Okay. That's one of the many, many markers with por and para. Duration of time is por. Okay. A ver. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué hicieron? What else did you guys do? These won't be notable things like going to the Grand Canyon in all likelihood. Weekdays. Eso no. Pagué mis impuestos. Yo pagué, sí, mis impuestos. I paid my taxes. Fui al banco. I'm going to show you how I'm going to mix here. Fui al banco para pagar los impuestos, sí, de la casa. Y fui al banco porque no quería enviar un cheque por correo.
Sí.
No
Sí.
quería enviar, I didn't want to. And
Yes.
no quería, I didn't want to, talks about how I felt. So how we feel goes into imperfecto. No quería pagar con un cheque por correo, así que fui al banco y pagué los impuestos allá en el banco, ¿sí? Inmediatamente. Ok.
Buena idea.
Buena idea, sí es buena idea, ¿sí? El correo, este año el correo perdió 3 o 4 de mis cartas o cosas que envié, ¿sí? Cosas que envié a Scottsdale 3 veces y otra vez que no recuerdo bien, pero perdieron mucho. They lost a lot. Ok, así que con los impuestos, cuando es un cheque, ¿sí? De mucho dinero, de gran valor, usa el banco. Ok. Bueno. Bueno, aquí, siguiente. Sí. Let's make sure we finish this up. We're not getting quite as far as I wanted to, but that's okay. Sí. ¿Qué pasó la última vez que llegó una tormenta de monzón? What happened the last time a great big monsoon hit you guys? ¿Qué pasó la última vez?
I have
Sí,
something.
Juanita.
Durante la última monzón, yo oí los truenos y vi el relámpago simultáneamente.
Okay. Let's pop that up. There are a lot of long words. Sí, okay. Perdón.
Yeah.
Sí. Continúa.
I heard and I saw, and then me asusté, la tormenta estaba encima de mi casa, on top of my
On
house.
top of. Sí.
And I don't know if that's how you would say it in
Muy
Spanish.
cerquita, muy cerquita. Super close. Okay. A ver. But we've got a lot of long words there. Okay. And some of our challenges with long words. Say those long words, eh? Sí. La última vez, ¿sí? Sí, okay, vale, sí. Oí, I heard, el trueno. Y aquí es trueno. This is kind of a hard word to pronounce, even though it's short. This is one of the short ones that can be hard to pronounce. Trueno. Trueno es... ¿Sí? Trueno. Es el sonido. It's the sound part, right? ¿Sí? Oí el trueno. Y trueno. The reason this is a hard word to pronounce is we've got that UE, and we have to kind of blend that ue. So your lips have to do an e. Go from an u to an e, a smile. Trueno. Trueno. Oí el trueno y vi los relámpagos. And this one is a legitimately long word. See? Relámpagos. But it's got a lamp in the middle, right? So think lamp, flash of light. Okay. Relámpagos. Relámpagos. Oí el trueno y vi los relámpagos que estaban muy cerca. That were really close. Encima de mi casa, encima de mi casa, encima de mi casa, right on top of my house. Eso es, ¿sí? Bien?
Sí. Now, when I looked up lightning and thunder, they gave me los truenos and they gave me el relámpago.
Sí.
You used are they the same or?
Sí, sí. Well, probably you have more than one thunder, so yeah, los truenos is fine. Sí. Sí, y relámpagos, relámpagos. No importa mucho. Okay, vale. Bien, bien. La última vez que llegó un monzón aquí a mi casa, había relámpagos, pero también fue una tormenta de polvo. Sí, there was, and now it's a moving thing, so it's an event. Hubo una tormenta de polvo.
Dust
storm.
Oh, dust. Okay.
Dust storm, ¿sí? Dust storm, así, bien. Ok, vale. ¿Algo más o no? Bueno, sí, Janet.
La última vez estuvo en mi casa cuando di cuenta de lo que estaba pasando. Tuve que ir afuera para mover los muebles de patio
sí.
y mis plantas en macetas a áreas protegidas.
Sí. Sí, tienes macetas con plantas y están colgadas, sí, hay que quitar y poner las macetas en otro lugar. Sí, muy importante. Y también los muebles. Cuando tenemos estos vientos tan fuertes, ¿sí? Hay que poner los muebles en un lugar, ¿sí? Para que no muevan por todas partes del jardín. Ah, bien. Excelente. ¿Algo más? No. Buena, Pat, sí.
Hace unos años teníamos 3 pulgadas de agua en nuestro patio trasera porque nuestro desagüe estaba obstruido con hojos. Rain was all clogged with leaves, which we didn't even think about. Tuvimos, now, I don't know, is that correct? Tuvimos que limpiar el desagüe and luego tuvimos que barrar todo el agua hacia el desagüe. Once we cleaned it, sweep all the water. So it go there in our crops and brooms and stuff.
Tuvimos que, we had to. And now you're really talking about a cleanup event.
Okay.
Yeah. So tuvimos que, we had to. Perfecto. See? All the steps you had to take to clear that stuff out. See? 3 pulgadas, 3 inches?
Yeah, it was horrible. We walked out.
Wow.
We walked out. The water just was accumulating. We have a big drain in the corner of the yard, but it was all, they had put in some tiles with little slits. And of course, the leaves can't go down there. So it was
Estaba bloqueado. Bloqueado.
Sounds like Cuba there.
Yeah.
Todo estaba bloqueado.
We replaced it with una cubierto elevada para el desagüe and no hemos tenido el problema.
Sí, el problema, sí.
Drain.
Sí, hay muchas personas que perdieron árboles, árboles enteros durante estas tormentas, ¿no? Perdieron árboles, sí, se cayeron. Sí, había árboles que se cayeron totalmente, o ramas de los árboles que se cayeron. Bien, eso es, sí. Ok, a ver. Wow, son las 7:30. I need to do a run up here. We did not get to our other little segment here, so I'm going to show something. Actually, I'm going to have you do 2 little videos, previews, so you know what you're doing here. I had sent you this little list, right? With these little words. See? And this won't be as long as telling a story. This is going to be much, much, much shorter, but tricky descriptions. This is going to talk about some of those words, and sometimes it's related to ser, estar, and sometimes it's not. Depende, see? Some words that get us tripped up a little bit, but each one of these words is going to be tied to a segment of this video. So this is going to be really a grammar driven video. 7 adjetivos, 7 adjectives, although there's a section there that gets into a little word that has ista words. And that's kind of a separate thing. I've got that at the end of the slide set. But she's going to give examples. So I want you to watch each example, and they follow, except for that ista part, they follow what you're going to see in the slides. So I want you to come back with some ideas of how to use some of those words, how to say some ideas using some of those words. All right. So she's going to go between, confuso, confusing, and confundido, confused. Yeah. One talks about a state of mind. One talks about a situation or a thing, yeah? Sí, algo abstracto quizás, yeah? she'll be talking about the estar aburrido with ser or with estar. She's going to talk about molesto or molesta to talk about annoyance and how different examples of words we find confusing. They're all descriptions, but things that can be a little bit tricky. Okay, so you're going to have the video that's tied to that, and then you're going to get a separate story video that's just story, just pure story, not really tied to any grammar per se. And we'll have some ideas connected to that. Sí, está bien. Good?
Sí.
And we will work in a little bit of por en para as we go along. The one por en para, because we had that request, por en para, those two, and again, it's the idea of the confusing words. Por en para, like ser and estar, we've got two words used for, but it really isn't quite as defined as for. You look it up in a dictionary, but the word para and the word por can loosely be translated as for, but they can be translated as other things too. And that's part of the issue. But when do we use por instead of para? One of them is that duration of time. When you say you do something for a segment of time, it's por. Yeah, it's por. Okay, so that's one of our little takeaways, because there's so many situations with por en para that it can be a little bit confusing. And when we do something via a certain method, it's also por. So when I talked about envié un cheque por correo, it's by mail, right? Not by electronic payment. See, por correo is by means of the postal system. See, por email, by email. Sí, perdón, Kathy.
And if a book is written by somebody, that would be por also.
That's also por. Something that's by, that kind of by also is por. War and Peace fue La Guerra y la Paz fue escrita, esa novela fue escrita por Tolstoy, ¿sí? Hay un nuevo libro de la vida de Elon Musk por Walter Isaacson, by Walter Isaacson. So when we talk about authors, it's por. Eso es. So we've got a few tidbits with por that we plugged in there. See? Bien? Okay. Maybe I'll you know what? I think I'll tag on a little bit about your por en para just with that and kind of isolate it. Yeah? So you can express some ideas with that. Okay. Todo bien. Sí. Nos vemos en una semana, ¿verdad? Sí. If you've got any other ideas, things that took you a while to kind of get a handle on, I'd like her to cover this, make sure you always send that to me. Sí. Y bueno, eso es todo. ¿Sí? ¿Bien?
Gracias.
And Barbara, you're on mute.
Lo siento. Marilyn, ¿vas a mandar un nuevo enlace por computadora de...
Sí. Sí,
okay.
con toda la información. Sí, claro, sí. Con toda la información, sí. Eso es, sí. Exacto.
Ok, gracias. Muchas
Muy
gracias.
bien. De nada. Entonces nos vemos más tarde. You'll kind of like some of the little examples with the confusing words in the video. They're kind of cute. They're imaginative. Okay. Son impresionantes.